sort of short of their goals this season?
This year has been, in my opinion, from just what I can control, professional failure. And that's been humbling. It's been challenging. I think it's revealed some things that maybe I wouldn't have known about myself that you have to be able to deal with and acknowledge accordingly. But if you do it the right way, I do believe you can be stronger. But it has been something that I think every experience you always are able to learn from. Some might be good, some might be bad. I am grateful for, even though you don't want to have to go through it again. There's no doubt about it that these will be lessons that I am confident will make me better and a more whole person and man and leader, moving forward.
I think they've played their butt off. I've actually been incredibly impressed with Sean McVay this year. There's just nothing he can do. Stafford went down. He's revitalized to some degree. If you think of the difference of Matt Rule and Sean McVay, Baker Mayfield in Carolina is a disaster. He comes out to L.A. He's looked pretty good. I mean, to me, I'm like, that's the best of Baker.
And he's looked good without Cooper Kupp, who is arguably one of the best receivers in the game. And I will point out to Rams fans, you're looking for a building block. Have you seen Cam Akers the last couple weeks? He is nice out of the backfield. He looks like the guy. I think he went to FSU.
He got into, you may be right, or Ole Miss, or SO. You're one of those.
Somewhere in the South.
He got into McVay's doghouse.
Yeah, he didn't want to work.
Or block.
A little entitled. And and now it seems like he's cleaned up his act, or they're just playing him because they have no other options. But Cam Akers is doing some damage. If you are a prop bettor, I would take the over receiving yards against Seattle. They cannot guard running backs out of the backfield. Their best linebacker, who I think is among the league leaders in tackles, Brooks.
He's out.
Out for the season.
Yeah.
Look for a lot of dump-offs to Cam Akers. Next up, Derek Carr. I don't think he's ever gotten this much love on the herd in, however many years you've been doing this. Colin, he's going to be the talking point here for the next month. Mr. Breer mentioned right after the Super Bowl is his window. His market, Derek Carr that is constantly moving. Fox Bet has some numbers on Derek Carr's team. Look at that list, Colin. How on earth are the Colts at the top of it? I don't understand that at all. I get the Jets.
They've got a tight end they like, a star running back, the kid they drafted out of Cincinnati, and Michael Pittman.
Hold up. They have Matt Ryan on the books for next year for a huge number. Now, Nick Foles is probably gone, but I don't see how the Colts make sense at all. Maybe they know something we don't.
Does he go back to Atlanta, Matt Ryan, for a year?
Well, I don't think they want.
Okay,
Listen, Matt Ryan had a great career, won an MVP award. Does anyone want Matt Ryan at this point?
Well,
he looked brutal this year. I love how you soft pedal it. Well, that's not very nice. Matt Ryan was abysmal in every facet of the game. Carr, look at that there. Panthers 800, Saints 900. I don't see Giants on the list.
It's really funny to me. You and I totally disagree. We don't love Daniel Jones. But the Mara family does not like chaos. There's a lot of chaos. You get in this league, there's a lot of chaos, and it really turns off coaches and scouts. If you want the best people that's why Washington, if Derek Carr could choose, he's not going to go to Washington. They have too much chaos. I think the Mara family, because they've moved so many coaches, coordinators, they're going to keep Daniel Jones.
So you're letting the Mara family run the franchise instead of the guy you hired as head coach, Brian Dable, who turned the franchise around in 1 year. Haven't made the playoffs in the Odell Beckham boat trip.
They just did. So what do I do?
Listen to your coach, Brian Dable. I think he kind of knows what he's doing.
Well, I mean, he may be a lot happier with Daniel Jones than you and I.
Hey, Colin, one of the executives came down during the commercial and said, "Colin, I have an idea on what to do on the show," and you looked at me and laughed, right?
No, I said, "Okay, Mr. Boss, I'll do whatever you say."
Yeah, right. No way. Listen, just buyer beware on Daniel Jones. Final story, update on Damar Hamlin. The doctors are working continuously round the clock on Mr. Hamlin, the Buffalo Bills safety who was knocked unconscious and his heart stopped on Monday Night Football. We have words from their press conference earlier today. It's great news. Here we go.
We would like to share that there has been substantial improvement in his condition over the past 24 hours. We had significant concern about him after the injury and after the event that happened on the field, but he is making substantial progress. As of this morning, he is beginning to awaken, and it appears that his neurological condition and function is intact.
That's pretty cool.
Massive.
We are
It's just
so
enormous.
lucky in this country to have the medical and health professionals we do. It's the EMTs, the first responders. I had a very scary moment happen to me a few years ago out of the blue. The quality of healthcare in this country, at least that I've experienced, is, I mean, I missed the Monday show when Brady beat Mahomes in the Super Bowl because I had a pulmonary embolism out of the blue. I think I'm in good shape.
That's right.
The quality, and by the way, it was during COVID, so hospitals were short-staffed and there was a lot of people in there. The quality, it was at Torrance Memorial, was unbelievable. I must have said thank you 1,000 times. These people are so good and so dedicated, and I'm watching the Super Bowl from the bed. I'm worried about getting on Fox, and they're like, you're not going to be on TV tomorrow, okay, pal? And it's just phenomenal.
You're like the franchise quarterback they do not want to rush back from injury. Okay,
Right.
We got to take it easy. You got to protect the franchise.
I'm Ryan Fitzgerald. I'm bouncing around team to team. You know,
Fitzpatrick? Yeah, and by the way, I butchered Calvin Ridley. Yes, I got your 7,000 messages, everyone. I said Calvin Ridley back with the Falcons. He's obviously on the Jaguars.
Or Jaguars. They traded him to Jaguars.
Gosh, we do an awesome segment, and I get 80,000 messages about Calvin Ridley. No other comments about Lamar Jackson, which I think we like, right? Lamar Jackson, Miami Dolphins.
I think it's pretty interesting.
But during the offseason, he was in Miami a lot. He's from that area. He's liking tweets about the Dolphins.
I know he is. You've been on that for 6 months.
I'm early to a lot of stuff.
You are.
I didn't get in early on Tesla, which is a good thing, by the way. Have you seen that stock cratering?
No, I haven't. I've heard.
Poor Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah, poor Elon Musk.
Poor Elon Musk.
Yeah, he hasn't created any of his own messes.
Yeah, you got daddy's money, so.
J-Mac with the news. One story, and that's because Vegas wants to bring in Tom Brady. Nothing personal, but Mark Davis, the owner, wants a new quarterback. Financial risk of paying him, they benched him. They also have Max Crosby in his prime, Devontae Adams in his prime, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. They want to get the most out of those star players. So if the Raiders can't trade him, according to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, they are willing to cut him, cut Derek Carr, a quarterback. For the D.C. listeners, I like Derek Carr. I think he's a top 12 quarterback, maybe 11 or 12, but I like him. They're going to move on and incur a very small, $5.5 million hard cap hit. So it does say Jimmy Garoppolo is also somebody they'd be interested in. So, Brady and Garoppolo have been in a lot of big games. Derek Carr has not. So there's your story to start the day. They don't have to make some deal for Brady. He's a free agent. They don't have to surrender picks, and they'll probably get a pick for Derek Carr. It is not a perfect fit if Tom Brady went there. Josh McDaniels, he's comfortable with him, and Brady likes comfort, but he's never proven to be a successful head coach. A lot of critics with Josh McDaniels' game management. Lost a lot of leads this year. The defense, the secondary is a mess. They got their first pick should be a corner. Their second pick should be a safety. Their secondary is a mess. O-line's fine, not great, but it's top 12, 13 in the league. But the Raiders do, and this is important, they're the opposite of the Colts. They have holes, but they check the right boxes. Left tackle, Colton Miller, good starter. Star receiver, star edge rusher. Brady would be the star quarterback. Offensive head coach in 2022. So the boxes are checked. They have to go out and get a good corner. They're a mess in the secondary. Other than that, in 2022, there are certain positions. The Colts have a good roster. They don't check some of the key boxes. Raiders check almost all the key boxes, but they got holes on the roster. I also believe the Raiders will get another pick, a second or third round pick for Derek Carr. I mean, are you going to tell me that Derek Carr to stabilize the New York Jets situation is not worth a second or a third round pick? Second and third round picks, 30% of them are busts. Derek Carr's not going to be a bust. Here's Albert Breer, though, yesterday on the interesting potential timing of a move for Derek Carr.
The Raiders have to make a decision on this by February 15th. They cannot have him on their roster without either a deal agreed to or, an agreement to cut him after February 15th, because that's when his guarantees vest. And so, to get a trade partner, you'd be asking for that team to move way ahead of the market and say, we're going to lock in with Derek Carr as our quarterback on Valentine's Day.
Okay, now that sounds fast. But remember, the teams that would want Derek Carr, Indy, the Jets, perhaps Houston, the bad teams, or the teams that won't make the playoffs. Their season's done Sunday. Sunday's January 8th. I know that because tomorrow's my birthday, January 6th. No big deal. No reason to mention it or lather me with attention. There's no reason. So Sunday's January 8th. You got 5 weeks. Never forget Matt Stafford. The Rams got Matt Stafford. Do you know when they made that deal? End of January. They were a good team. All right, so they were a very good team. So I think it's doable. I think it's going to happen. I think the bad teams have plenty of time. And I think Derek Carr, we're going to play a little game next hour where he's going to land. I think there's a lot of places. Derek Carr doesn't get hurt much. Miami's going to consider him. The Jets will consider him.